Now, South Park is nothing new on my channel. I mean, look at me. This adult animated show has been on for over 2 decades and has still been able to make millions of viewers laugh. Coming off of the minds of Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they've been able to attract an audience like no other animated show. Unlike the reputation of Family Guy and The Simpsons, South Park has always been consistent and fresh in the eyes of the public. The show is still satirical, shocking, and most of all, entertaining. So today, I'm counting down my top 10 favorite episodes from this show. The ones that stick with me the most, and let me tell you, creating this list wasn't easy. This was one of the hardest lists I've ever made. This show has so many good episodes and I could go on and on about them, but I'm gonna stick to 10 for this video. Now before I start, I must get this out of the way. This is my opinion. Please don't be salty about this list. You may hate that I didn't add a certain episode on my list, or that I like one episode more than another, but please be respectful about this. Though feel free to comment below and tell me your favorite episodes. I'd like to read them in the comments section below. But anyway, enough stalling, let's get on to the countdown.
I'm going down to South Park, gonna have myself a time.
Friendly faces everywhere, humble folks without temptation.
Going down to South Park, gonna leave my woes behind.
And we're parking day or night, people spouting howdy neighbor.
Heading on up to South Park, gonna see if I can't unwind. Come on down to South Park
Number
and
10.
meet some friends of mine.
Ninja positions. Hello, Craig. Look what we got.
The gang obtains authentic ninja weapons from the county fair. As they play with them, they pretend to be real ninjas as we see them in this adult anime style. Once Butters starts to play with them, a mishap occurs as Kenny gets his ninja star stuck in Butters' eye. Now the gang has to fix Butters before their parents find out.
Stop, dude! You're gonna scramble his brain! Go ahead and scramble it, then he won't remember it was us.
I feel like this episode is playing onto the lessons we learned as young children on never playing with dangerous items or to never play in dangerous locations or anything like that. Just seeing what happens to Butters makes us lucky that we actually listened to our parents. The anime style that we see is very well designed while still having a South Park look to it. It's also funny to see these badass looking characters still having their same voices.
From now on, you only get to have one power. So what is it? I have the power to have all the powers I want. That doesn't count, fat ass. Yeah, that's it, Carmen. You don't get to have any powers. Meh.
I won't spoil the ending, but I'll certainly say that it wasn't what I was expecting. But that's one of the many things that makes this episode great.
All right, ninjas, let's go protect the world. Kick ass.
Number 9.
Kenny, all you did after the cat peed in your face was start running around in circles cheering. Yeah, and then you ran through town screaming and started tearing off all your clothes. Hello?
The town discovers that there's been a rise in people getting high. On what, you may ask? Well, cat urine.
Well, it's not actually cat urine, but male cats, when they're marking their territory, spray a concentrated urine to fend off other male cats, and that can get you really high.
Though the results are, well, certainly a trip. Gerald decides to take action by having cats banned in the town, but that doesn't stop Kenny from trying to get as high as possible to get with the king's daughter. Don't bother asking, it's a weird story. Actually, for those who don't know, the trip out scenes in this episode are based on the 1980s cult animated movie, Heavy Metal. Speaking of that, seeing Kenny in this world is hysterical, to the point where I actually want Kenny to get with the lady in the end. Seeing Cartman having a soul and caring for the cats in the town is very heartwarming and sweet, though a bit hypocritical if you know Cartman's character.
What are you doing with cats in your attic, fat ass? They're innocent victims in this cow. They have to hide or they'll be put to death, something you just can't understand.
The twists in this episode result in a hilarious climax that never fails to make me laugh. This may be the grossest episode on my list, but it's too damn funny that I don't mind it as much.
Kitty, get out of here! Oh, fat kitty! Bad kitties.
Number 8.
Kyle, I'm I'm starting to think that this is a really bad idea. I'm not Kyle. I'm Butters. I thought you were Kyle. No, I'm Stan. You're Stan? Where's Kenny? Who are you? I'm Kyle. Guess who I am, you guys?
Real-life illusionist David Blaine is rising in popularity to the point of having his own cult. The gang joins until Stan leaves, thinking it's a bad idea, though losing Kyle in the process. When Stan asks Jesus for help, he tries to stop people from joining David's cult, but fails. When David Blaine calls out a mass suicide to gain tax-exempt status, Jesus calls out the super best friends to help, where each member is a figure of religion. It's a race against the clock as Stan has to save Kyle, and the super best friends have to stop David Blaine. First off, this is an awesome idea. Having gods from some of the biggest religions in the world join forces to stop evil like the Justice League. While it does sound awesome, here it plays off like a 1960s Batman episode.
Using the wood that Krishna cut down as a beaver, Jesus uses his master carpentry skills to make a giant mold.
That should do the trick.
In all honesty, there's not a lot I can say about this episode, but this episode clicks to me in a certain way. Maybe just the fact that these many religious figures are working with each other. You know what? I'll just sum up the episode and how I feel towards it with this one clip.
So you mean to tell me that even though people fight and argue over different religions, you guys are all actually friends?
More than friends, young boy. We are super best friends, with the desire to fight for justice.
We all believe in the power of good over evil. Except for Buddha, of course, who doesn't really believe in evil.
That just puts a big smile on my face. This episode is very childish, but at the same time, it's very enjoyable.
That's right, Seaman.
Sea-man.
That's what I said, Seaman.
Stop it!
Number 7.
Well, there she is. It's a new beginning for us.
I don't want to go in there.
Shelly, come on.
Randy purchases a Blockbuster store, but this is during the rise of video streaming and the downfall of DVD rentals. Though this doesn't let Randy down as he promises that customers would flood in for the Halloween season. If only that was the case. As Halloween arrives, Stan is forbidden to go out trick-or-treating, but with an iPad and a skateboard, Halloween is on as the boys go through one hell of a night.
Oh, wow, it's the Avengers.
That's right!
Oh, and Honey Boo Boo. Kids, come see the green Honey Boo Boo costume.
This episode does an amazing job at parodying Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, from its music to its scenes. The metaphors, including Blockbuster acting like a haunted house, is hilarious but kinda sad, as I remember going to Blockbuster a lot before it closed down. I can only remember renting movies and video games, getting a box of candy in line. Ah, the good old days. Anyway, the robbery plotline is funny, with everyone treating Stan on the iPad screen like a real person. Also, Randy losing his mind is just so funny to watch.
Hang on a second, Karen. Can I help you with something?
According to industry experts, many rural areas don't have the bandwidth to support DVD quality video and streaming services and won't for years to come, making DVD rentals still the best movie watching option.
Ghosts, robbers, and even Gangnam now's the perfect time to watch this episode as Halloween nears.
No! No, I won't do it! Leave him out of this, he's just a little boy! Hey, Stan.
Number 6.
Whoa, what are you doing? The Queen and King of Stan's house wish the Lord of the Rings returned to them. But it's the greatest movie I've ever seen. You guys were right. Lord of the Rings is awesome.
As the Lord of the Rings movies are popular, the gang and their friends all roleplay as characters from Middle-earth. While on a mission to give Lord of the Rings to Butters, Randy reveals to Sharon that he rented a porno, but not just a normal porno, but what's said to be the most hardcore porno ever made. As they play it, they realize that there's something off with the tape.
Wow, the production values are really good in this porno.
Yeah, it almost looks like the Lord of the... Oh my God!
Realizing their mistake, Randy assigns the boys to obtain the porno and return it to him.
You must retrieve the tape, but do not look at it, for it holds an evil power. retrieve the tape, and return it to us at home.
Though the 6th graders get their sights on it and are after the VHS as well. Now it's a race to the video store as our heroes have both the 6th graders and parents on their tails. The plot is so simple but amazing. A story like this was bound to happen in a show like this, but adding the Lord of the Rings into the mix makes the journey more intense than it already is. Building up the intensity of the porno makes the item in hand even funnier when the boys are completely naive to it, even when Butters gets to see it with his own eyes.
Precious, could you bring back my Precious?
Butters, where is the movie you were watching?
They took his Precious, took it away to watch without him. He was really enjoying that movie too. My Precious.
Another great parody as each scene hits a bullseye. Definitely a must-watch, even for those who haven't seen the Lord of the Rings movies.
I'm not playing anymore.
Whoa, wait, what'd you see?
I don't know. I don't want to know. I'm out.
Number 5.
But, Ma'am, I have to get some Pokemon doll before everybody else does, because then I'll be cool.
Can't it wait till tomorrow, hun?
But, Ma'am, I have to get the first one, else people won't think I'm cute.
Chimpokemon has hit America and is the latest kid sensation. Kids are going nuts for it, even if the parents don't understand it. Sadly for Kyle, he desperately tries to fit with the times, but is always one step behind.
Duh. God, get with the times, dude. Duh.
We later find out that the toys are hypnotizing the children to form a Japanese army to bomb Pearl Harbor. Now it's up to the parents to stop the heads of the corporation once and for all. Of course, Pokemon is another thing that needs no introduction on my channel. I've grown up with Pokemon for years and I still play it to this day, so I can understand how all the little kids felt with Chimpokemon, from the anime to the video game, even to the little toys. It brings back a huge nostalgia for me. To me, the best moments in this episode are the little scenes. Cartman trying to convince Kenny to trade for his favorite Chimpokemon, the class speaking Japanese in front of Mr. Garrison, the town talking to the heads of the corporation. It's bullseye after bullseye.
When wife asks him where he's been, just use the action button and Alabama man busts her lip open.
Shut up, bitch! Wow.
The ending is also spot on perfect for an episode with metaphors on fads that attract children. A classic episode and a must-watch for South Park viewers.
Yes, and what is the evil power? The evil power is the United States government!
Ah.
Number 4.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, Kyle, but I think maybe this is what your family gets for being Jewish at Christmas time. Dude, Cartman, I'm just saying maybe Jesus is having a little revenge, that's all.
It's a normal day until Ike is transferred back to Canada with his old parents under Canadian law. When the adults of the town decide to cancel Christmas to help Kyle's family, the kids take it well.
You f***ing asshole! This is all your fault!
Kyle decides that the only thing to do is go to Canada and talk to the Prime Minister before Christmas Day. Once they arrive smoothly, they're off to see the Prime Minister while meeting new friends along the way, all in the style of The Wizard of Oz. It's a race against the clock though, as Christmas is on the line. I'll confess, I like this Christmas episode more than Woodland Critters Christmas. I don't know if it's the Wizard of Oz parody they do, or Cartman's childish behavior, or the twist ending, but maybe it's also because this one gives me the warm, cozy feeling that Christmas movies always give me, while still being South Park. It's also nice to see minor characters like Scott and Mr. Kim having their times to shine in this episode.
Hello from the cockpit, this is Captain speaking. As you can see, it appears that we are going down. Now would be a good time to reflect on your life and pray to whatever deity you believe in.
I say give this one a shot. It might not be everyone's favorite South Park Christmas special, but it certainly is to me. The right amount of Christmas cheer with the right amount of a South Park twist.
Kyle, I just want you to know, if it were any other time of the year, I still wouldn't help you.
Number 3.
This Saturday, awesome! Casa Bonita, Casa Bonita, food and fun and a festive atmosphere, Casa Bonita. Who said I'm inviting you?
For Kyle's birthday, he invites his friend to Casa Bonita, except Cartman. Cartman is baffled since Casa Bonita is his favorite place on Earth. When Kyle tells Cartman that he can take Butters' place if he can't make it, Cartman uses this opportunity to stop Butters from being able to go to the party. He fakes a meteor story and gets Butters to stay in a bomb shelter, but when the town is aware of Butters' disappearance, Cartman has to keep Butters hidden until the big night.
We can postpone Casa Bonita until next Saturday.
Next Saturday? I'll never be able to keep Butters down in the depths of my heart for that long.
Cartman is usually known for being very evil, but this episode shows just how good he can be at manipulating Butters. The acting, the costume changes. Cartman really outdoes himself in this episode. You don't know if you actually want Cartman to fail or succeed with his plan. Seeing Butters believe in Cartman is cute and funny, as Butters is just being himself.
The meteor destroyed our society, Butters. Now Earth is ruled by packs of wild humans gone mad. Those of us who survived are now being hunted by flesh-starved cannibals. Oh, God, I hate cannibals.
The climax is amazing, and I won't dare spoil it here. This is one of the more popular episodes on the show, and I can't argue with that. It's hilarious, suspenseful, and worth a watch.
All you ever do is call me names and rip on me for being Jewish. Kyle, when have I ever ripped on you for being a Jew? Oh yeah? Well, you're a stupid Jew. You're a Jew. Shut your goddamn Jew mouth. Good job, Jew. Jew. Stop, Jew. You're Jewish. Dude is Jewish. Jew. 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 I told you Jewish people don't have rhythm. Fuck off, Cartman! Okay, except maybe for that one time.
Number 2.
Okay, I'm getting someone now whose name is it's a
Kenny!
Kenny says hi.
Cartman's mother starts to find out about Cartman's weird behavior after Cartman drank Kenny's ashes in the episode A Ladder to Heaven, which made Kenny and Cartman share a body. When that gets the attention of Chef, he suggests going to talk to real-life psychic reader John Edward. He proves to be no help, but Kyle falls for John's reading about his grandmother. Stan tries to convince John Edward to tell Kyle that his message is fake, while Chef takes Cartman to his parents to help perform an exorcism. I say both plotlines are equally as enjoyable. This episode is one reason why Stan is my favorite of the main 4 characters. He seems to be the voice of reason, and the one to follow reality the closest. He's almost like the soapbox for most of the morals and for Trey and Matt's opinions. Hearing him expose John Edward is strangely satisfying, especially since Trey and Matt make John act like a little brat.
I think I've had enough of your bullying me. Get out of my house or I'll run upstairs, lock myself in my panic room, and call the police.
I'm 9 years old.
On the other hand, seeing Chef's parents again is enjoyable, as I like those characters. They're a good mix of crazy and wise, like Yoda in the original Star Wars trilogy.
Here, Spirit, come out the window. I'll give you tree fitted.
Now don't go offering to sow no tree fitted one.
I'm just trying to persuade it.
Also, the Rob Schneider trailers never fail to make me laugh. Man, I love this episode. Definitely a must-watch.
Oh, for the love of Christ. I want to watch, fat boy. No, Kenny, it's not funny.
Before I get to number 1, I want to quickly bring up a few honorable mentions, episodes that are just as amazing as the previous ones I've listed, but just barely missed out on my list. Cartman Land. This was actually the first episode I ever saw. Cartman gets $1 million and buys a theme park, but only he can be in it to enjoy it. Though, Kyle starts getting rained on with misfortune as Cartman is happy. It's strange, but funny as hell, and it still makes me laugh to this day. The unaired pilot. Technically, it's just the original version of the first aired episode, but I prefer this one more. The old episodes may not be the best, but they give me this feeling inside that prevents me from disliking it. I can watch this episode anytime. The death of Eric Cartman. Cartman has done terrible things to his friends, but eating the skin off of KFC chicken has crossed the line. Kyle, Stan, Kenny, and eventually most of Cartman's classmates decide to ignore him. This gets Cartman to believe that he is actually dead and roaming as a ghost. I'm not going to say any more about this one. I suggest that you go check this one out. You're Getting Old and Asperger's. God, South Park has never made me feel depressed until I saw this episode. Stan turns 10 years old and he realizes that things he used to like turns to crap. Literally. That's the simple gist of the episodes, but damn, these are sad. It's best if you watch these two back to back. Make Love, Not Warcraft. As one of the more popular episodes of the series, a troll keeps killing the gang in World of Warcraft. We find out that this player is unbelievably strong and is trolling every person he sees. The gang decides to stop this troll once and for all, And it's no wonder why this episode gets the reputation it has. Great humor, a not so subtle but clever metaphor, and animation from Blizzard themselves. What's not to enjoy? And finally, Cartman is such an out-of-control child that highly professional nannies can't even stop him, though only one man is there to set things straight, Caesar Milan. God damn, this episode is so funny. I don't see a single issue with this episode. You guys can actually call this number 11 on my list. And now, the moment of truth. Time for number 1.
Prepare, little town. Prepare for the greatest supervillain you've ever seen. Professor Chaos! Fine! Then maybe I'll just forget about destroying the town and just run away and join the circus. Simpsons did it.
I know this is a bit of a cheat, but since they continue the same plot line, I'm including both as number 1. The first episode starts with Butters being kicked out of the gang since he was originally Kenny's replacement during Season 6. Feeling upset, he develops an evil identity known as Professor Chaos. While that happens, the gang is trying to find another replacement for Kenny in the form of a reality TV contest show. Seeing Butters trying his hardest to be naturally evil is unbelievably adorable. The most evil things he can think of doing is swapping 2 bowls at a restaurant or increasing his parents' water bill. Also, the replacement plotline is funny, seeing how they parody Survivor and other reality shows. It also is pretty interesting as the plotline keeps you on your toes as you don't know who will be the replacement Kenny.
Next.
In the next episode, Cartman thinks that the sea monkey toys are actual sea people. When he orders online, he is proven wrong. When they dump the brine shrimp in their teacher's coffee, she mysteriously dies, but they think they're the cause of her death.
Jesus Christ, we killed her! Shh, Twink, shut the hell up!
The other plotline is when Butters thinks of an evil plan, Dougie, or General Disarray, always compares it to The Simpsons, letting Butters down since he wants to be original. This episode does a good job continuing the plot lines of the previous episode. The episode has a perfect mix that most South Park episodes have. Gross out, parody, and having good morals. The Sea People plotline is weird, but oddly fascinating, and Butters' plotline is funny, but a bit sad too. We constantly want Butters to be happy with his evil plans, despite them being done in a previous Simpsons episode. It gets to the point where he eventually goes crazy, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah, but you're our new friend, and that makes you capable. In fact, it makes you the most responsible. Tweak, you might have to take the fall on this one.
These 2 episodes remain my favorite as they still humor me the most. They may be pretty tame compared to other episodes of the show, but seeing these characters in these scenarios always makes me laugh.
I am Professor Chaos, and now this puny world will bow down to me.
In my mind, South Park has a huge variety of episodes, from their subject matter to their sense of humor. I feel like anyone can enjoy this show, they just have to pick the right episode first. They can be as shocking as Woodland Critters Christmas or Stupid Spoiled Horror Video Playset, or as tame as Christian Hard Rock and The Succubus. And I think that's what's so interesting about South Park. It's not all just raunch and potty humor. It can be smart and entertaining with its humor. It has attracted millions of viewers over the years, and it certainly has attracted me. South Park does give myself a time. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Also, feel free to comment below what your favorite South Park episodes are. Consider subscribing for more top 10s as well as other content, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.